Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Jen Barba. I am part of the admissions team at the Sloan School, and it's my pleasure to oversee the admissions process for the Master of Business Analytics program. And today we're focused on hearing a little bit more from the perspective of the women who are in the program or graduates of our program. So, we have a few panelists who are here to help share a bit more about their experiences with you. But first, I wanted to give a quick overview of the program. So number one, at MIT Sloan, we are a mission-driven school, and everything that we do is designed to help, enable our students to develop the skills to be principled, innovative leaders who will generate ideas and advance management practice in the work that they do. And to be honest, we're also looking for some evidence of this through the application process. We're also a global community, and MIT would not be MIT without our community of international students. And this just kind of is a snapshot of how diverse our population is at MIT Sloan across, citizenships represented. And then, we are speaking today about the Master of Business Analytics program, but however, it is one of a number of portfolio of programs that we offer at MIT Sloan. The MBAn program is in its 10th year. It's a one-year program that is quite rigorous. It focuses on applying the tools of modern data science, as well as optimization and machine learning. And there's a very close, relationship with Operations Research Center at MIT. The program itself is designed to give you both, the quantitative and rigorous skills, as well as an applied understanding of how those skills are used in the real world. And you'll have opportunities to do that through a capstone project, which wraps up with a 10-week, essentially internship to wrap up the program, as well as some additional action learning classes like an analytics lab class that you have access to right away. Today, as I said before, we're really kind of focused on, the community of women in the program. It is certainly a field that we recognize has an underrepresentation of women. We are very much focused on supporting the women who are studying with us at MIT Sloan. We have a number of different initiatives kind of highlighted here on the slide, but by no means is this the only things that we offer in terms of supporting women. But, the Sloan Women in Management, or SWIM as it's called, is the women's organization at Sloan. And then there's a lot of other initiatives across MIT and Sloan as well. So, without further ado, I'd like to, just jump right into our panel. So I have a few women who are here with me today, a couple graduates and a couple current students. Maybe we could kick things off with some introductions. So if you all, I'll call on you, but if you all could just share, what you did before coming to MIT, and then a little bit more about what you're doing now, whether you're a graduate and working, or if you're a current student, and, and just getting started. So, Dido, I'll start with you.
Hello, thank you very much, Jen. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to participate to the panel. And I'm really glad to be able to share my experience with all of you. Welcome to the panel, and we're glad to discuss with you today. So my name is Dido. I come from Greece. Before joining MIT, I did my bachelor's and master's of engineering in electrical and computer engineering with a specialization in AI ML at National Technical University of Athens. Then I joined the Master of Business Analytics at MIT, where I also did research assistantship with Professor Bertsimas, and then I joined Dynamic Ideas, where I work as a data scientist right now in the Boston area.
All right. Excellent. Daphne.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today with you. Happy to meet all of you. So my name is Daphne. I also come from Greece. My background is in mechanical and aerospace engineering, so I was kind of a pivot to the data science area. I was working at a software company before joining MIT Sloan, and it has been a completely change of my life, and I'm more than happy to share any details about this incredible year I passed here. And now I'm gonna join Microsoft, where I did my capstone project with as a product manager, and I'm really excited to start in a few days. So that's it pretty much about me. Happy to share any more information if you want me to.
All right, that sounds amazing. Um, Isla.
Hi everyone, my name is Isla. I went to Berkeley. I studied data science and econ, and then I worked for 3 years as a data scientist at Bank of America. So if any of you are coming in with a little more industry experience, I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I'm currently an MBAn student, so this is just my first semester, and I am also doing a research assistantship in case you have any questions about that.
All right, Justine.
Hi everyone, I'm Justine, really grateful to be here. I'm originally from Michigan, and then I went to undergrad at Northwestern University, majored in statistics and data science. I recently graduated from there this past June, so I definitely have a good, hopefully, understanding of the direct transition of like not really leaving an academic setting and going straight from undergrad to a master's program and kind of how that difference looks with just going straight back into school. But I'm really excited to be here and answer any questions I can help with.
All right, thank you. And Rose.
Hi everyone, my name is Rose. I'm really glad to be here to talk with you guys. I am originally from France, but I did my undergraduate at McGill University in Canada. I studied computer science and math, and then I went back to France for a year to work as a strategy and operations analyst for a startup, and I'm also currently an MBAn student along with Justine and Isla.
All right, sounds wonderful. Thank you all for being here. So the first question I'd like to ask our panelists is a little bit more about the curriculum. So, maybe we can start with the fall. So when students come into the business analytics program, we bring in about 80 students each year. Everyone is taking the same set of core electives in that fall semester. Anyone want to comment on kind of in general the course structure, the nature of the work, the rigor, anything you would like to share about the first semester?
I'm more than happy to kind of kick off and kind of, at least from my experience currently being in the program, when we kick off the fall semester, I think it's a really great way that it's done when we have about first we have about 2 to 3 weeks of an orientation period, which I think it was a really great opportunity to get to know your classmates and really be in a setting where it was a little bit less stressful, because then once classes do start, we end up taking about five classes at a time, because one class is split between the first half of the semester and the second half of the semester. It's very academically rigorous in that regard. So having those bases of knowing everyone in your tight-knit cohort very established, I think is a really good kind of starter to kick off the fall, because then things ramp up. I'm not going to lie, pretty quickly in terms of just the amount of work due and the content. But I'd like to think that once the first round of midterms, mid-October comes around, you kind of see yourself be like, okay, I can really do this regardless of kind of that intensity of the academics, as well as the fact that it is super collaborative. We have a lot of group projects kind of throughout the fall. So you're really getting an opportunity to work with a lot of different people throughout those different projects. And like even with homeworks and other assignments, there's a strong encouragement and an incentive to work with others and kind of collaborate and like bounce ideas off each other. So I think that that collaborative environment definitely helps with the academic rigor, because everyone is going through a very similar course load. Everyone is trying to grasp the same concepts as you. And like, I think when someone understands something that maybe I don't understand or other people in the program doesn't understand, they're very good about helping and reaching out and helping you understand things. So I think that collaborative piece definitely helps with the academic rigor, as well as just kind of the initial period truly helped getting to know everyone before we started the academics. But you know what you're getting into. I think it is difficult, but I think at the end of the day, that's why we're here, is to learn a lot in a short period of time.
All right. Well, maybe we can lean on our alums for this next part of the question, which is, the electives. So our current students haven't had a chance to take any. You might be in one elective, some of you right now, but for the most part, haven't really had a chance to take many electives yet. Can you talk about like one of your favorite classes or a faculty story or some kind of anecdote about an elective course that you took?
I could start if you want me to.
Okay.
So last semester, I decided to join this Gen AI lab, which was the first year that was ever, yeah, it was like the first year that they kicked it off. And I found like the most interesting course because you get to have an experience with industry. So you get to build your resume while you're still learning. And I do believe that's a great opportunity within Sloan that is like very well connected with industry, and you take straight away everything you learn in class to how you can actually apply all of that. So I highly recommend this elective. I learned a lot through that. And I would also like to add, maybe that's a personal story, but I think it's like a very great opportunity to leverage the being part of the MIT community in general and also Harvard community because you can cross-register. And I always had, for example, this passion about psychology, so I ended up taking an elective at Harvard, and I would definitely encourage everyone to, aside of like only the technical things that you're interested in, also there's so much more in this community. And it's like just incredible that I could just go to Harvard and listen to a topic I'm very, very interested in. So I just wanted to share that there is also that opportunity throughout this year.
Excellent. Okay, so the next topic I want to touch on is research. So, a lot of students are interested in doing research as a part of their master's, and as you know, we're closely aligned with the Operations Research Center at MIT. Did any of you do research, and or do you have any stories you'd like to share about how you were able to secure that position and kind of a little bit more around the details of the research that you're doing?
I can start. So I'm doing research with Professor Swati Gupta, who might also be presenting at one of these sessions because she presented for us last year, and I thought she did a lot of research regarding fairness in machine learning, and I thought that was super interesting. So I would suggest once you get in, the research application generally opens around July. I would suggest just looking up all of the people at the ORC, what they're working on, the things that they've published recently, seeing what you're most interested in, and probably just reaching out to them, seeing what projects they have for the semester and what interests you. And then there's generally like an interview process after you submit your applications, which is not so much an interview as a conversation because you want to make sure that the professor that you're talking to is doing research that you're interested in, and the professor wants to make sure that you're genuinely passionate about the topic as well. So it's just a conversation to try and find your best fit. Um, and once you do that, then hopefully you land on a project, which is probably going to take around 10 hours per week in the semester. Some weeks are a little bit higher in workload, like it'll be 15 hours. Some of them are a little lower, it might be like 5 to 6 hours. But you do want to account for the amount of time of your week it's going to take for you to do research in addition to the rigor of the rest of the courses as well.
Awesome. Dido, did you do research as well?
I did. Thank you, Jen. Yes, I would also love to share my experience. It was a very important part of my journey at MIT. I did research with Professor Bertsimas. Personally, I did research the second semester, which was the spring semester, where you have to you by yourself you would have to seek out the professor you're interested in working with, and propose an idea or discuss with them where is the intersection of your interests and theirs, and what they can offer as a research position. For me, it was an amazing experience. I highly recommend to new current students and future students to do this because I was able to apply my knowledge and deepen my understanding on some more nuanced fields of optimization and machine learning. You get to capitalize on this as you see the impact you provide by proceeding in the project, and I think it's an excellent way both to apply the skills that you earn at MBAN, but also to engage in something that's more academically oriented, because MBAN will definitely give you the access to collaborate with a variety of companies throughout your journey. I guess we'll touch on that later today in the discussion, but research assistantship is also a chance for you to delve deeper into a research problem you're interested in, and this would be in the operations research area, and get to collaborate with a professor like Professor Bertsimas, as I did, to solve this problem in an innovative manner.
Awesome. Maybe some of you could speak a little bit more about what you got involved with outside of the classroom. So I think when I talk to applicants, they've been incredibly successful academically up until now. They've been very focused on schoolwork and, achieving the best that they can, potentially working and, in very rigorous time intensive employment situations. But I think part of what makes our program so unique is the community and everything that happens outside of class. So, maybe you could talk like holistically, or one of you could talk holistically about sort of the culture and the community within, the 80 student cohort, but then also what are some of the things that you're getting involved with to help build that bond? Maybe it's like the fall retreat or the data trek to New York, or all of the other activities that the program helps to create this sort of community for you.
Yeah, definitely. I can start. There's definitely, like you said, lots of events. I think, as Justine mentioned, the 2 week orientation period is where the bond starts to create with your fellow AMBANs. It's 2 weeks long. We took a field trip day, one of the days, and there were socials organized for the evenings, and so that started to create the bond. Obviously, the fact that in the fall semester we're all taking the classes together means that you see everyone every day, and you're in class with them, so you're bonding over the class materials, and it's obviously different than the spring semester where we might take different electives, but we're definitely bond. The fact that our classes are required this semester and that we have to take them together definitely creates that bond. And as Jen mentioned, we do go on a fall retreat. For us, it was a couple of weeks ago, but I believe it's the same retreat every year, which is nice. It's in New Hampshire in a lodge, and we spend two-ish days over there, and we hike, we have bonfires, we have events and evenings together, and it definitely, and even though it was in the middle, for us at least this year, in the middle of like pretty time intensive like midterms and deliverables, people all played their part and like were there to be with the rest of the cohort and to bond. And I think maybe the alums could talk about the New York data trek, because that is going to happen for us in March, so I can leave that to you guys.
Yeah, any of you want to comment on like any of the other activities that happen beyond the fall semester?
I'm happy to. So I would like to also highlight the fact that it's a highly collaborative environment. And I know MIT brings this name that can intimidate people. And I also, when I started, I thought that it will be very competitive and people will not be able to help each other. And I was surprised to see how everyone was willing to create a community and support each other. And as an international student, that's very important. Because you're really far away from home, and building a community actually helps you success. So I just wanted to confirm once again that it is a very collaborative environment, and the program is forcing us to enforcing us to build these connections, and they do last throughout the whole year. Fall semester, it is a bit tough, and everyone is a bit focused to kind of more get through it. But also after during the spring semester, we kept hanging out with each other, meeting frequently, and everyone was kind of getting in their own paths. Some other people were interested in specific electives when others, but we always managed to keep it together and have fun all together. And I would say that now at Thanksgiving, we have already organized to meet again. Around 30 people were doing Thanksgiving all together. So it's something that if you're willing to, you can keep having it for the rest of your life, I guess, or whatever you want to make out of this. And I know many, many people are now in New York City starting their jobs, and actually they're living together. I know already more than 10 people that are co-living, and so I think that's the best way to assure you that you can have great community within this year.
That's amazing. I'm happy to hear you're all getting back together for Thanksgiving. Um, the next question I have is really about the support that you receive as a student. So, we have advisors like, Michelle and some of the other program team members who help to advise you on, academics and elective choices and, activities to get involved with. And then we have Tracy and her team in the career development office to help, coach you on resume prep and kind of thinking about, developing these professional networking skills. And then, for those that are graduates, you could talk a little bit more about how the career team helps to support you in your kind of job search. It's really more of like a networked job search. But, maybe we can start with, the type of support you can expect as a student or our prospects could expect in terms of advisors. So I don't know if any of you had, our students, I'm sure, have had a chance to meet with Tracy already. You've probably already had a chance to meet with Michelle or anyone from the program team. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about the advising that you've experienced so far.
I can definitely kind of kick that
Okay.
off. Well, like personally for me, even before I came to MIT, I had some questions that I was really interested in kind of asking Michelle, just given kind of my background. I'm also still a part-time athlete. But I was able to get in touch with Michelle and have a really nice conversation. Even before I had fully committed to MIT, I had just put down my direct deposit. And she made the time for me to already help support and kind of advise me even before I stepped on campus. So I think to have a program that is already reaching out and trying to make sure that your adjustment and any questions you may have beforehand, months beforehand, get answered, I think is really incredible. Kind of since then, I mean, in the summer, kind of right before we start classes, you end up having initial meetings with Tracy and Michelle. And for me, I definitely had a lot of questions about maybe what electives looked like if you took them in the fall, what it kind of looked like just throughout the whole year, and to have that time to sit one-on-one down with our director Michelle especially, and get those questions answered, maybe that might be more personal to you than in a group setting, made it really feel like they care about your growth and your journey through this program, especially as we get out of the fall. It becomes a little bit more, everyone goes different ways. So I think they've been very good at being hands-on. Tracy as well. We have a lot of resources in the career office in terms of right now we're prepping our resumes to be ready for our capstones. And I think they do a really good job of giving a lot of really comprehensive and iterative feedback, which I personally have never experienced, that I have someone that I can be I made these edits, can you give me more feedback on that? And they turn it back very quickly. And so I think to have people that are very on top of it, that answer those questions, makes you feel very supported. And the rest of our program office is also great. Our their office is right here on the second floor in one of our main buildings, and I will often go down to just chat with them, ask kind of questions that might not even relate to classes or career stuff in general, and they're more than happy to pop out of their office and be like, how was your weekend? Do you want a snack? And I think that personal connection where they're genuinely curious and want to make sure you're doing well and your growth outside of the academics and career also is being seen and stuff is really important. And I've personally never had an experience like that. So I think having that program leadership that really cares about you as a person has been really nice to experience so far.
Excellent. Daphne, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but maybe you could talk a little bit about, your kind of career search. So, we have a whole separate webinar that focuses on capstone, but, about a third or so of our students tend to go to work at their capstone project. So maybe you could share a little bit more about your capstone experience at Microsoft, and now, you're about to start full time with them.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to. So yes, I did the capstone with Microsoft. It was one of the best experiences throughout the year. We were lucky that they had headcounts and like they were willing to offer us a full-time opportunity. From what I know they're highly interested in the background of the specific program, so I think they will be getting back, and I'm really happy to see that. It was an amazing experience from like all the like I don't know, from every single point of view I can think about it. The people were very, very supportive and nice. We had the opportunity to take the project more towards what we were interested in, which is something great about capstone project, which is a bit different than an typical internship that usually you've been told more specifically what your task is and you have to follow that. Um, Whereas, like in Capstone, the companies are really interested in what you can bring from the MIT. And that's something that also it kind of they like the companies admire you and like all the knowledge you've gained in like the throughout this year, and they're like more than happy if you can suggest how they can incorporate that into their existing projects and everything. So it's a very interesting dynamic of bridging the MIT community and the industry. And both are very excited for this collaboration. And I think if you manage to get the most out of it, it's like an incredible experience. I don't know if you have any follow-up more specific on the capstone experience.
No, that's okay. We should direct everyone who's here to watch the webinar about the capstone project. And then, I know we have a bunch of questions in the chat that are great questions. So, we can jump into those. And for those who are online with us, please post more questions if you have more specific questions you'd like to ask. So, the first question is, can you describe the learning culture at MIT Sloan? Is it competitive or collaborative? Anyone want to, take that one?
I'm happy to take that one, Jen.
Okay.
So, having experienced the program 2 years ago, my comment on this is that the culture is highly collaborative. The key here is that the MBAn cohort is consisted of people coming from a vast variety of backgrounds. So, it's given from the very beginning that when you form a team, and you will form multiple teams inside this program for there's so many projects and tasks you will tackle together. So when you form a team, you know from start that each one of you as members of the team, they are able to offer to bring a whole new perspective to the team and lift each other. So that's the goal. The goal is to lift each other through sharing your skill set, your experience, your expertise. So you're complementing each other throughout the program. That's the beauty of it. So the way I experienced this program from start to end is that it was very collaborative. All of us, we were a team trying to achieve the same goal, which we were happy to see that we accomplished. And now we are equally happy to see each other succeed and flourish in what they do right now. And as part of the alumni network to cherish each other still and view their trajectories in their careers.
Okay, perfect. The next question is, how present is the topic of AI within the curriculum? Is it integrated across courses, or is it mainly focused on specific electives? And, maybe this answer is going to vary for someone like Dido, who graduated 2 years ago. Things have changed a lot in 2 years when it comes to AI. But, do any of you want to comment on how AI has been integrated or a part of the electives that you're a part of the courses, not just electives that you're taking?
I can answer this. So the entire course or the entire program is based on machine learning and operations research, and AI is obviously very, very central to machine learning. So I think every single course that we have in some way or another addresses the topic just from a different lens. So our machine learning through an optimization lens course does exactly that. We study everything that you guys may have seen in introduction to machine learning, but with optimization. So even if you're doing something as simple as linear regression, we look at it from an optimization lens, as the name suggests. And yeah, so it's very central to the course, I would say. And I think another really great thing about this program is that it keeps up with developments in this area. So if there is some new technology that's come out or a new research paper that's come out, and a lot of our professors are the ones doing this research and publishing it, then they'll talk about it.
That is true. There's more electives on the horizon as well. Lots of electives. I mean, this is a topic where, as you can imagine, the cases that we have are outdated before the semester is over. So, the faculty lead of the program, Dimitris Bartsimas, is very integrated across MIT and has recently launched an initiative around AI at MIT and essentially open learning on AI for the world. So, it's more and more of that is continuing to be rolled out, but certainly AI is present in everything that we're doing. Another question, switching gears a little bit, is for the people who are for our panelists who came into the program after having worked a little bit, so did not come directly from school. How difficult or challenging was it to kind of reacclimate to this somewhat rigorous academic environment?
I can mention a little bit, but I know Isla, you have a lot more work experience than me, so you can go after. I just want to say I worked for 1 year in between, and that I can definitely tell a difference with the people that came directly from their undergrad. Reacclimating, it takes a little bit of time, but I would honestly say that after the first month, which to be fair is kind of hard on everyone, I did feel like I was back into a student mindset. And it does come back a little quicker, but it's also because I worked for 1 year and I know Isla, for example, worked for more. So I'm gonna let her give her point of view.
Yeah, I did work for 3 years, which is kind of crazy because I don't even remember what it felt like to give exams. And my first midterm, I was just like, I have to sit here and write for an hour and a half. Like I don't remember how I used to do that. But yeah, I think there's two things. One is like attention, how much information you can absorb from like an 80-minute lecture. You're not used to doing that anymore. The really good thing is that all of our lectures are recorded. So I will always, always, always have to watch them back because I cannot keep absorbing information for that much time. But yeah, so there's a resource to do that. And there's office hours where you get to ask questions about whatever you didn't understand. And the other thing is, I think like retention of information, because when you're working, you can always look something up if you don't remember it. No one's going to expect you to remember like how to formulate something on the spot. Um, and a lot of our exams, I don't know if this is going to be a theme going forward, but a lot of our exams allow cheat sheets for formulas or like a one-page cheat sheet or allow you to access your book. So the emphasis in grad school is not on memorization and rote learning, it's on understanding. So given that you understand a concept, how are you going to apply it? It's not important that you memorize what the formulation looks like. It's more important that you know how to apply it to things. So I think the transition was a lot easier than I had anticipated because they sort of build this program around preparing you for the industry. And if you've already been in the industry, then you're almost a little bit prepared to go back. The other thing is, yes, it's easier for people who just came out of undergrad to study again, but there are so many resources that everyone else has already discussed where you can get the resources that you need for the way that you need to study, that I think it really does make up the gap.
Excellent. All right, I see a question about an internship. So this is a 12-month program that does not have an internship. Students work, are in school for the fall and the January term and then the spring semester, and then it wraps up with a 10-week capstone project which in theory is very much similar to an internship. So students are applying for those capstone projects in January. They're projects that are with companies that our team pre-scopes and pre-identifies companies that partner with us to support you. You get the support of, PhD or faculty advisors, as well as representatives at the companies to help advise you over that 10-week capstone analytics focused work. So there is no internship. Instead, students are then searching full-time for full-time employment after graduating. The career process or the recruiting process for this program is slightly, out of sync with someone who would traditionally graduate in May or June. So it's really a just-in-time kind of search process. Our career team will partner with you to help identify opportunities and help you through that career search process. But a lot of students begin interviewing and recruiting for full-time employment in like the April timeframe, and then that lasts through the summer. We have an incredibly successful employment set of statistics, and there's lots of details you can read online through our employment report. So I'll leave that there. Let's see. Talking about like how you chose this program versus some of the other options that are out there, could one or two of you comment on how you decided to pursue your Master of Business Analytics at MIT versus, potentially looking at programs in data science or in some other, computer science or other versions of the programs that are similar out there?
I would be happy to start, Jennifer. Thank you. So yes, this is a great question. For me, there are multiple reasons. First of all, the Master of Business Analytics will give you a direct touch, both academically and in terms of the applications you will see with the work environment, with the real companies out there and how to tackle real world problems, but by leveraging novel solutions. This is something that differentiates this program from any other data science program you will see in the globe. In my opinion. Of course, part of this is the fact that the way that the novelty is defined is the fact that in this program you will become very, very knowledgeable in optimization. And this is a huge added bonus in comparison to the typical data science program. Optimization is a core, and I see this from my work right now as well, it's a core part of how real world problems are being approached and solved in order to provide the maximum value you can provide for business, no matter the field. That's also very important. Graduating this program opens the door for you to work in any industry and field you might think of. Daphne earlier mentioned she will be starting her career in Microsoft as a project manager, whereas I'm doing data science and optimization engineering right now. And these are only two roles you can see in the variety of the fields alumni work in. And of course, to be very honest with you, the reason I chose MIT, it is also because it is MIT and it is the best there is. And I'm extremely grateful that I was able to be part of MIT and always keep my connection with MIT, the people that supported me in the journey, my Professor Bertsimas, every other professor that I get to learn from in the masters, my advisors like Jen, Michelle, Tracy, you, everyone, and of course my classmates. Indeed, this is the place to meet the best of the best. And I would highly encourage everyone to apply and give it a shot.
Amazing. I see two really interesting questions left, and
Wait, sorry, I would like to add something to the
Okay, yes,
previous
go ahead.
question about what this program offers. So sorry. I looked at a lot of other programs where they didn't really offer their master's students any opportunities to do research because there have been so many funding cuts federally for the education sector that they prioritize their PhD candidates for that. MIT is not like that. If you want to do research in literally anything, you can find a professor that's willing to take you on, willing to fund your research, and you can do it. I don't think that there's any other program where you have that kind of flexibility as a master's student. if that's important to you.
That is very true. In fact, this year we have the highest number of students doing research than we've ever had. So it's almost half the class. And I hear there will be even more brought on to do research in the spring semester. Um, so there are two questions left, and I think they're really interesting, and maybe we could have one or two people speak to each of them. So the first is, what is one of the most rewarding aspects of your experience in the business analytics program, either thus far or as a graduate?
I can kind of kick that off as someone that's like currently in the program. I think the most rewarding aspect for me is honestly like the connections made here. I think being able to work with a bunch of people, like a lot of our program, I think it's about 70% international, with people of a lot of different backgrounds who have a lot of different levels of experience and perspectives on different things as we're working through different projects has been really like not only eye-opening, just very cool to kind of have people that like are genuinely very passionate about being here in the classes that we're taking and what we're doing, but also like those differing perspectives through that passion. That is something that I didn't necessarily fully experience in undergrad. You have people with varying commitment levels, but everyone here is very dedicated to learning and like getting the most out of this year program. And so like having those people to work with those differing perspectives, but then also being able to step back from school with these people that you see every day and get that experience of like becoming very like tight-knit friends outside of the classroom as well, with people that like maybe you wouldn't be friends with if you weren't put into this program to begin with. I think it's like really very cool for me because I think a lot of this will be connections that I carry for life. And that's something that's very exciting that in such a short time you're able to like really see that for the future. And it sounds like from those who have graduated, they've stayed in touch with everyone. And so it's like really positive to hear that. And for me, like I like go to sleep very excited to wake up the next morning to see everyone again. And it kind of feels like I'm back in like elementary school and middle school, like, oh my gosh, I get to see my friends today. And so like I think that's been really exciting to get those differing perspectives and make those friendships.
Amazing. Anyone else want to comment on this?
I could add something on top of
Okay.
that. I completely agree with what Jason, you already mentioned. But I do believe that it was a very rewarding year in the sense of, personally, I do measure success a lot in terms of how much I grow in like a specific period of time. And if I reflect on myself starting and now is a huge difference. And to me, this is so worth doing because there is the environment and everything you need to actually grow that much. And I can reflect on all of my classmates as well. Like there's not a single person that I thought did not grow up in this year. And I will mention one more time, MIT as a community is extremely beautiful and very inspiring. You just have lunch somewhere with your friends, and next to you might be a very inspiring person eating. And if you're just open to meet people, you will be surprised how many wonderful souls you're going to find around you, and that you all share something in common because something all made you come to this place and apply and be part of it. And that can never stop. Like
Amazing.
a pool of people that inspire me to stay as creative as I can. Is that there is not a single thing you cannot learn until you start learning it. I started without really knowing a lot about data science. I have already a master in mechanical engineering, so I was familiar with like different math, different type of problems. And I ended up in one a year after the reality check was in my capstone project that I was able to even suggest and be opinionated about like what algorithms we should use. And I couldn't believe that, wow, you just achieved that in 1 year. And it's not only because of me, it's because the environment helped me to do that. And I just wanted to share that you should take that into account.
And thank you. The last question I have is just a piece of advice you might share with future applicants that are on here or that may watch this recording in the future. Anything you want to share in terms of advice for people who are considering this program.
I can think of advice both for the application process and for how to approach the program once you're hopefully in. For the application process, of course, what will bring you to MIT is, in my opinion, the hard work you've already committed in your career and academics so far. So make sure to describe everything you've worked for, all the goals you have achieved, to try to make clear the impact you have added and the excellence that the excellence you have achieved in your academics and work and every team you've been a part of. The second thing that's very important for a master's like this is, of course, to showcase and to actually be support, to showcase you are a person, a team player, that you can be supportive to your teammates, that you can be eager to learn from other people and help other people learn, that you support, that you can support this MIT environment further with your presence and make a positive impact. So my advice for the application process, having been through that 2 to 3 years ago, is to do your best, and that your hard work will pay off. My advice in the way you approach the program once you're in is to be committed, is to be hardworking, as you obviously are if you made it to the program, and to leverage any opportunity that's presented in your way, to not be afraid to take chances, to take responsibilities, to participate in projects, in clubs, to lead when you have the chance, so you learn to become a leader eventually, to be open to your classmates, to be highly collaborative. I heard when I was a student at MIT that being at MIT is like, Jen, correct me if I say this wrong, like drinking water from a fire hose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that's what I think it is. It is an immersive experience of so many things to learn, see, and be exposed to. And I think my advice for you is to do all of them as much as you can.
Sounds like great advice. I want to thank all of you for joining me today, and for everyone who's joined us to learn a little bit more about our panelists' experiences. Think about continuing to join us for upcoming events, or check out our YouTube channel. We have everything you can think of recorded in previous events as well. We know we have an upcoming application deadline in early January, and we're really looking forward to learning a bit more about all of your backgrounds and hopefully inviting you to be a panelist in the future. So thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate your time today. And Anna, thank you as well. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day.